Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Busy Moms Fitness, Nutrition, Mindset, and Accountability community. This community is for busy moms and women who are ready to take back their life, feel more confident, be stronger, all while having more energy, while learning really simple habits and changes that allow you to reach your goals while still enjoying your wine and cheese, your beer and pizza, or whatever that guilty pleasure may be for you. So, as we jump in here, I know we're going to have people jumping in at different times. In this group from now on, we are meeting the first Thursday of each month at noon Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you mark that on your calendar. We go live into Facebook. I am in a Zoom room because each month I do invite a select few people to get to jump into the conversation. So if you ever have interest in the topic that's coming up that month, you can always send me a message and say, hey, can I be part of it? Or you can always follow along on Facebook. Hey, Sheila, I see you're there. Thanks for letting me know you can hear and see me. Great. So, like I said, the first Thursday of each month at noon Eastern Standard Time, I go live in this group. Each month, we've kind of designated to a different area, whether it be fitness, nutrition, mindset, accountability, maybe it's goal setting, maybe it's time management skills, maybe it's dialing in on strength training specifically, or stretching, or meal prep and planning. We kind of dive into what each month is specifically, and you get a heads up towards the end of the month. So make sure you are part of our email list so you stay in the loop on what's coming up the next month and so on and so forth. So last month we focused on nutrition. March was all about nutrition. We did a meal prep and planning workshop. We ran the meal prep and planning boot camp. We did trainings in this. You saw a ton of my food being posted inside the community. One of the things is as we move from month to month, you may have thought last month the nutrition just wasn't something you were ready to put your time and energy into. You can always go back and take on nutrition at a different time. But maybe you're super excited because April is all about fitness, exercise, intentional movement, and just moving your body. And maybe that's where you're ready to step in and you're more active in this group in the month of April. You can come and go as you please. I will always be here. So for this month, we are focusing on movement, exercise, fitness, whatever we want to classify that, because I know sometimes we use interchangeable terms here. So things to remember when we are in this group is although April, we're talking about fitness, doesn't mean we can't talk about other things. That just means that's where most of my posts and most of my training is going to come from, is around that area. But if you've got a nutrition question, or you've got a mindset question, or you've got something you're dealing with, bring it to my attention, no matter what month it is, no matter what our focus is. Before we kind of get into some of the details of today's training, I'm going to give you a few updates. So, update number one is last year I ran a summer program. It was a 90-day summer program, started June and ended the end of August. I have had people reach out to me and ask if I'm doing it again. And I've been in the works of creating something, and I've asked their feedback of, do you want it similar to last year? What type of things would you like in it? And they said they wanted more of a strength program this year. So I'm going to be running a 90-day summer strength program starting June 1st. So knowing that, if you have any interest, I don't have any more details for you, but all I know is we are going to focus primarily on strength training, building muscle, being more confident, making sure that we are doing moves correctly, all with a little bit of added nutrition and hydration goals, just to make sure that we're staying consistent and we're focusing on all areas. Really small, tangible things with workouts given to you. It's as much as I've created thus far. So if you have any interest in our 90-day summer strength program that's going to start June 1st, just drop strength in the comments below, and I'll make sure that once I've got those details finalized, I will get them sent out to you. So those I'm hoping to have by May 1st, you guys will have kind of those in and all the things. So remember, if you have any interest or you just want more details on it, drop strength in the comments below and I'll get you details as they come. Second little update here before we move into today's training is because we only do one free training inside this community, what that means is I do a paid training later in the month. And April is all about movement, exercise, and fitness. And based on today, I'm going to give you just a little glimpse into what type of movement we should be doing and the benefits of it, and really looking at the why behind adding movement and exercise into our life. But in our monthly paid workshop, we dive into it. We dive deeper. During this month's workshop, we're calling it the Midday Movement Mastery online workshop. It's going to be Thursday, April 18th from 1 to 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, I've got a lot of you in different time zones, so Eastern time zone. It's all going to be taking place via Zoom. It will be recorded. So if you can't be there live, you will also get the recording. It's $50 for the workshop, just like all the other workshops. With this, you are going to get a handful of on-demand strength, cardio, and stretching classes to follow along with. So you don't just get the workshop, but you're going to get some bonuses again this month. So if you have any interest in this, hearing more details about it, or signing up because you know this is something you want to go into, at any point during today's training, just drop movement in the comments below, and then I will send you a message with a little bit more details, and I will also give you a link to sign up. Some of the benefits of this workshop and things you're going to walk away with is at least 3 mini circuits that are going to be strength focused, cardio focused, and stretching / mobility focused that you can do anywhere in 15 minutes or less. One of the things that I run across all the time is we get caught up in feeling like we've got to do this big hour workout. So during this midday movement mastery workshop, we're going to break it down each one of these areas into very small, tangible, bite-sized pieces that you can walk away with and implement and get going on right away. So if you want to feel great, get stronger, gain clarity, and boost your energy, make sure you drop movement in the comments below and get signed up for that workshop that's taking place on April 18th. So let's get into the training for today. And today's training was prompted by a question that had popped up, probably a couple months back now. You guys have seen me talk about it in the emails. You've probably heard me talk about it when we see each other face to face. It's kind of been that new thing that I heard, and I really like it. And yesterday, if you saw the post, you already know what it is. Or if you're watching this live, I posted it as the topic of this training. It's what are you training for? When this question came up a couple months ago, it made me stop and think of like, what's the point of your workouts? What's the point of me dedicating my time to myself, but also helping clients dedicate their time to exercise, to stretching, to strength, to just moving their bodies daily? And one of the quickest answers, especially when talking to clients, is the first answers that always pop into our head is I want to be skinnier and I want to have a smaller jean size because that's something that's still at the forefront. And don't get me wrong, that's something that at times still pops into my head because I'm human and I'm going to think that way. And that's just how our brain works. But I want you to think about what are the other things in life that movement and exercise, strength training, cardiovascular workouts, stretching, mobility, what are those things doing for you? And what are they going to allow you to do outside of getting skinnier or getting that smaller pant size? So I want you to kind of start thinking. I'm going to give some examples here in a little bit, but I want you to start thinking about what are what are you training for? Why do you take time aside in your day to move? Is it for a mental clarity? Is it so you can physically be stronger, so you can bring all your groceries in one trip? Is it so you can continue to pick things up and down off the ground with ease without throwing your back out? Is it to be able to continue living in your home as long as possible as you age? Maybe it's for being able to continue hiking, biking, traveling, and exploring. I've got a ton of clients of all ages. My youngest is 28 and my oldest is 88. And it was fun to kind of ask these questions to everybody in between. And really, the answers are very similar when we get away from being skinnier, having the smaller pant size. It's gets us into my 88-year-old clients like, I want to continue living in my home and doing the things like the dishes, putting the sheets on the bed, getting ready for the day. Want to continue doing those daily activities on my own because she lives alone now. And then you've got my clients who are younger, who are new moms, and it's so that they can continue playing with their kids with ease. So they're not out of breath when they're running around throwing a football. So they can get up and down with their kid in their hand or walk up and down the stairs with your kids in your hand because that's what, like, you don't think about that. But when we train and we focus on strength training, we focus on even flexibility and being able to bend over and tie our shoes, like all of those relate into our everyday life. So it's really important that the movement that we are doing in our workouts, in our exercises, the exercises we choose, and the intentional movement we are doing actually correlates and puts us in and relates to what our everyday life movements look like. So I would love to know what are some of the things that came to mind for you? I know I gave a ton of examples there, but are there other things that came up for you that you're like, yeah, I want to continue to put things back into their cupboards up above. So I want to keep my shoulders nice and strong. I want to keep good range of motion. Maybe it's getting in and out of the car. Maybe it's being able to twist and buckle your seatbelt. Um, it's there's so many things that go into this. So drop it in the comments. Let me know what types of things popped up for you aside from what I already said, or maybe they're things I said. Two other things that I will share on this is thinking about just making everyday activities easier, traveling the world. I have a lot of clients who like to travel. I know there's a lot of you in here who like to travel, such as myself. And it's important that we can pick up our bags, put them on the scale where they then will take them off for us. Or maybe we're rolling our bags and we actually have to get on a plane or a train and we have to throw that bag up ahead. If we are not physically prepared for that, we can have an injury. And we never want to start a trip off with like injuring ourselves because we had to put that bag up atop. So things like that. The other thing is being able to get up and down off the toilet. If you fall, making sure that you can still get up. Um, Hey, Nicole, see you tuning in. Good to see you. I want to keep up with my 2-year-old at 43 years old. Yes. And like, what does keeping up with her mean? Does that mean when you chase her? Does that just mean as she grows and starts to get into new activities that you can keep doing that? What does that look like? Because she is going to get bigger and she's going to get involved in things, and having those ideas and making sure that I'm going to give the example. If she ever plays soccer, that you can still kick the ball around with her and feel good and not feel exhausted or out of breath or like, oh my goodness, I just wore myself out and now I'm down for 2 days. Oh, Sheila, great one. Be able to throw the saddle on your horse. That's awesome because you're right. Those saddles they're heavy, they're bulky. Maybe it's even getting up on the horse. I know a lot of times it's important that we use. So for those horse people, we can get it in our saddle without the steps sometimes, but also it's good to use the steps. But having that lower body strength as well as that upper body strength to pull ourselves up with ease so we don't put more impact on the horse is super important. Great examples. I love those. So keep them dropping. Flexibility. I love that. So, all in all, no matter what your reasoning is, I really want you to think about the other things aside from our physique, the way we feel. And yes, we are human. We are human and primarily we are women in this group, and it's going to pop in. And we're going to feel bad when we have to get a larger pant size. We're going to feel bad when all of a sudden that scale goes up because we've been programmed for so many years that that's how we're supposed to feel. And it's not. But there's a huge reason why I do such a big push on how we feel physically, mentally, and emotionally through exercise, through habit changes, through nutrition, through mindset, because those are the things that we're going to see big differences on long term that are going to help us, that it doesn't really matter the scale, the pant size, or any of that. It matters, can you continue doing the things you absolutely love and you want to do? Picking her up, bending over multiple times a day, picking up toys, back, chasing her. Yes, you have multiple times of picking things up. So making sure that we're practicing that in a structured format is also super important because it will help us get stronger. So those reps, those tons of reps that we have during the day don't fatigue us. So think about your why. Think of the things you want to keep doing. Keep sharing them in the comments as we go. I'm going to share about 5 exercises here and the reasoning that you should be doing each of these. And these are specifically so that you can keep doing these activities. This doesn't even go into the energy boost, the mindset clarity, any of that. This is just physical because we're talking about physical benefits that exercise has and being able to continue doing this. So one of the movements that we should always be doing in a very controlled way, making sure we're doing squats, is just a normal squat. And that can be a sit to stand if you've never done a squat before. It can be a body weight squat, or it can be a weighted squat. And we slowly progress. A squat mimics getting up and down off the chair, the couch, picking something up off the ground. The possibilities are endless with this. We squat down all day long without even knowing it. And often we don't say, okay, I'm going to set up in good form here. Let me squat down, pick up the thing. No, we bend over or we do a little squat, we pick something up and we move on. But if I strategically think about squatting and increasing my weight as my form stays good, it's going to make those little squats that I do all day long super easy. And you're not even going to notice them. Whereas right now, you may be noticing when you've done a ton of picking things up and down off the ground. Second one is overhead presses. So this movement right here, one, range of motion. If we stop putting our hands above our head, we're going to lose that range of motion. Two, at some point, we are always picking something up and we're probably putting it up there, whether it's in your closet, putting clothes away, maybe it's taking the water bottles and putting them up in the cabinet, putting the plates up there. Um, like I mentioned, traveling, putting your luggage in the overhead bins. Being able to continue doing this motion with ease and without pain. So making sure we are practicing an overhead press on a weekly basis, that we are getting stronger with that move, while we are also practicing that range of motion, is going to help us make sure we can continue putting things. Or maybe it's picking your little girl up and lifting her above your head. If we stop practicing that, or we don't add weight, we don't practice that move in a normal exercise or fitness routine, it makes it more challenging. So I have clients, we practice this because they've got kids that are about 5, 6 years old and they still want to be picked up. Well, 5 or 6 year olds squirming and the weight of them adds a lot of challenges. So we practice lifting weights that are the same weights as their kids, because you're doing that without even thinking about it. Number three, walking in the yard is something else that I think gets really overlooked. And we think, oh, it's not a really a big deal. But walking your yard, what it's going to do is it's going to help with your balance. It's also going to make sure that you stay familiar and comfortable with uneven ground. And part of that is you can walk your driveway, you can walk your yard. The reason I give that example is it's something you most likely have. And just walking in general, whether it's down the street, down the sidewalks, it's uneven ground, it's unpredictable, it's not just on a treadmill. So what it's going to do is it's going to help you kind of make sure that you're aware of your surroundings, because naturally, as we age, our balance does get worse. We do feel a little less settled and stable when we're on uneven ground or soft ground, things like that. So the more of that you can keep doing, the better that your body's going to feel, and you're going to feel less unfamiliar with it down the road. The other one that I absolutely love here is up and downs off the ground. So you can do this all the way from sitting on your butt, or you can lay down, but it's essentially just practicing getting up and down off the ground without having to use your hands. And maybe you are at the point where you are using your hands because you're like, excuse me, you want me to get up and down without helping myself? But always, when you start these, always put yourself next to a chair or a bench or a couch, something that you can grab onto and help push yourself up. But the end goal is that you can get up and down off the ground without any help. Because what this is going to do is it's going to help you, if you're a gardener, it's going to help you get down on the ground, pull some weeds, stand back up. It's going to help you stand up and down with your kids in your hands. How many times have you been sitting there and you're like, okay, you got to get up, but she's sleeping on me? Like when my nanny girl was young, like that was the thing. We would be sitting on the ground and she'd fall asleep. I'm like, okay, now I got to get up. Being able to continue to get on the ground and stretch and give yourself flexibility. Maybe it's also looking at when we get older, our risk for falling is larger. And a lot of times we don't practice getting up and down off the ground until we have a situation. So practicing it, so when we do unexpectedly fall, no matter the surrounding, we have one, a physical plan of how do I get myself up, but also you mentally feel confident that you can get yourself up. Because that's one of the things I run into is my clients who do fall when they are older, is we sit there and they first come up with their game plan. They know they can do it, but they have to mentally get themselves there. So making sure that you're doing that, and the more reps you can do with it, the easier it's going to become. The last two that I have for you is a farmer's carry or a suitcase carry. So this is one combo, and this is a great move. And this is all about bringing in those shopping bags all at once, or bringing in the diaper bag and a car seat. It's about carrying things, our purse, our jacket, a kid in one hand with heavy bags in the other, making sure that we've got good form, that our core is nice and stable, that we can stand up without feeling like we're all hunched over and we're going to trip or we're going to fall. It helps build core confidence and it also strengthens the entire body. That's another move that's super relatable in everyday life. And the final one that I like to share, and this is kind of a long one, is it's running, walking, biking, jogging, any sort of cardiovascular workout that you can be doing even just once a week. What this is going to do is it's going to make cardio easier. It's going to make your heart stronger. It's going to make activities such as walking up and down the stairs with laundry easier. It's going to make being able to maybe climb the stairs just in your work building without anything. It will make that easier. Walking with your kids, pushing a stroller, playing catch out in the yard, or if for some reason you get yourself in a situation where you have to be able to run, you are prepared for that. So it's just preparing yourself, one, for the things that you can already expect, but also preparing yourself for the unexpected. So those are 5/6 examples. I've kind of went on a little bit with a few different ones of how doing dedicated movements such as those in an exercise or fitness setting is going to make you stronger. It's going to make everyday life easier for you, and they're going to require less effort so that life feels easier. So one of the things that we do is every single cardio class that I teach and every single strength class or every single stretching class, whatever class that I teach or whatever client I work with, if it's personal training or in a small group setting, whatever it looks like, we make sure that the movements we are doing are functional movements that correlate into your everyday life. I'm not going to have you do a move that makes no sense because you're not going to do that move in everyday life. We make sure that the movements actually translate over. So if you want to deep dive into our midday movement mastery workshop with us on April 18th from 1 to 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and get the replay as well as walking away with at least 3 mini circuits that you can do with 15 minutes or less that cover these movements in even more movements that are going to help make you stronger, feel more confident, and hit all your areas, just drop movement in the comments below and I'll send you the details and that payment link so you can get signed up so you're all ready to go. Finally, I want to hear, for those of you who are still on, I want to hear your biggest takeaway and insight from today. What have you learned? What are you going to be implementing as you get done here with today's training? Drop that in the comments below. And as you are doing that, I'm going to remind you that in the beginning, I did mention our 90-day summer strength program that will be starting June 1st. Like I said, I'm still finalizing the details after talking to people who did it last year on what they want for this year. So with that, what I'm going to be doing is once I get those details, anyone who does drop the word strength or who has dropped the word strength today, I will send that out to you so that you've got all of those. And if you choose to move forward with it, awesome. And join us in our 90 days summer strength program. And if not, you have the details for next time. So like I said, drop in the comments your biggest takeaway or insight from today. April is all about movement. If you have a specific movement goal you are focusing on this month, drop it in the comments or post it in the group. Let's cheer each other on this entire month. I've taken on a new strength program that's 4 days a week of strength training, and it is kicking my butt, but it's awesome and I'm loving it. And I'm excited to share it with you guys here in our 90-day summer strength program. So have a great rest of your day. Let's make April the best movement month ever, and I will see you guys all in May. Have a great day.